for them to be evens just to qualify, which means, you know, you're covering extra time, you're covering penalties. I think that's a great way to lay the foundation of a bet builder, you know, evens to start with. What a day we are in for on Friday. Euro 2024 returns, and this is a previews and predictions video for both of these games. We're going to be taking a look at all of the data from these teams for the last sort of 25 games. We're going to be looking at some player stats and putting some bet builders together for this very fixture. I've also got a fixture I want to show you from Japan. There's a home team there, very, very strong home team. I think they've won 10 out of 11. And they are evens to win against a team that has won about 30% of games. So that one popped up on my feeds this morning, so I'll share that one with you as well. And add your comments, add your predictions as a comment, because any comment on this video will automatically be entered into a draw to win OddAlerts Pro, and you will see the features and the benefits and the power of OddAlerts Pro in this very video. So that's the introduction done. Let's get into it. So I'll start by taking a look at Germany's form across the last sort of 25 games. I think it's actually loading 27. Yeah, because when you click last 25, if these two teams have played against each other in recent times, which I'm guessing they have, then it will just load them in for us. So it's 27 for both teams. And if we look at all competitions, we can see that they're unbeaten at the Euros, a draw against Switzerland, who looked decent, didn't they, in the Euros this time around. And you can see that international football is a bit strange. Teams come in and out of form, but Germany looked well drilled. Looked very, very capable of going on and winning this tournament, especially on home soil. And for Spain, they've only dropped points twice this year, against Brazil, where they drew, and Colombia, where they lost as well. The previous defeat was actually to Scotland before that. So this is going to be an interesting game. One thing that stands out from the data here is the number of clean sheets recently for Spain. They did concede against Georgia, but a clean sheet against Albania and Italy in the group. And if we look at the goals conceded across this period, and we toggle this to overall, would always recommend overall with international football, because especially tournaments, it is neutral for the majority of teams. Obviously not for Germany in this case. They are in Germany, so that's why I favour them. I've got them in a sweepstake as well, so hopefully they can get over the line in this game. So just letting you know about my bias there when we do come to put the bet builder together later. But across the last 27 games then, 3.22 goals on average for both of these teams. But look at the goals conceded, 38 for Germany and just 20, 0.74 per game for Spain. Now I hope we see the attacking side of these teams that we know they have, rather than the defensive side of these teams that we also know they have. It's not like the defense is a weakness for either of these teams, but I wish we see a game where they both just go for it. This is international football, so it's unlikely that we'll see that, but that's what I'm hoping for, and maybe an early goal can open this game wide up, because we've seen some games since the knockout round started that have been a bit of a tough watch, shall we say. And let us all know in the comments what you think. Who is going to progress out of these four teams playing on Friday? I'm going to go for Germany. I told you about my bias. In the sweepstake, you know, there's quite a few people in there, 20 quid in as well. So I'm hoping that Germany can get over the line. And to be honest, I think they've got enough. I think they've got enough solidity to deal with Spain. So that's my early prediction. As we can see, the probability model is favouring Spain, given the way they've been playing across the last 25 games. There or thereabouts, but Germany certainly seem to have turned a corner in terms of the performances, and Nagelsmann's got players playing in the right positions, and Havertz is having a wonderful time. Last sort of 12, 18 months, he's been brilliant. And Portugal, France, let's take a look at that one. So Portugal, France, let's just take a quick look at some of the data. Cards received. Portugal have received a card in every single game at the Euros so far, and so have their opponents. France, their opponents have received a card in every single game. Just scanning this and seeing how we can potentially use it when we come to put those bet builders on. Second half cards received, average of 1 per game for Portugal, and we can take a look at the results so far for both of these teams. Portugal, no goals in the last couple of games, but you remember when they won the championship in 2016, they didn't score that many goals either. Greece, a similar story in 2004, was it? We look at France, and again, under 2.5 goals in every single game at the European Championship, and they've not really got going, have they? They've not scored a goal from open play. They've got own goals and penalties so far, which is interesting. Mbappe, for me, has not got going yet, but there's no doubt when he does get going, And if it is in this game, against a 41-year-old Pepe, who, to be fair to him, has played well, but, I mean, is he going to start this game? Who knows? They've got a lot of options, France. Griezmann dropping in as well in between the Dembeles. Who was it that scored the goal? Muani, is it? Who came on and scored against Belgium, or forced the own goal from Vertonghen. I thought Vertonghen had retired before this tournament. I honestly didn't know that he was still knocking about. So, France-Portugal, it's a tough one. I just think France could edge it, to be honest. Portugal, that Turkey game, if they can get that kind of performance going again, I think Portugal need to drop Ronaldo. Because if you drop Ronaldo, go 4-3-3, bring Paulinho in, which is what they did against Turkey, it just allows the other players a bit more freedom, and there's a bit more fluidity as well. If you drop Ronaldo, bring Jota in, or bring Neto in as well. They've got great options, both of these teams, especially out wide. But Ronaldo's not going to like that, is he, being dropped? But we'll see. Right. Next up is player data, and we will also put together some bet builders for these games based on that very player data. And I'll also be showcasing this tool, which is available for all pro users right now. And as I said at the start of the video, if you want to enter a draw to win OddAlerts Pro, which will be announced, the winner will be announced in the next video, just comment down below who you think is going to progress. Is it Spain, Germany, Portugal, or France? You can only pick two. Get your thoughts down below. Now let's go over to the Player Stats Hub. So this is the new Player Stats Hub. If you want to see a full demo of it, you can watch the previous video on this channel. And by default, it shows you all of the players in the Euros, and it's ranked by goals. But what we're going to do is zone into a particular game, and in this case, Spain-Germany. And we're going to take a look at Bet365 at the same time. You can use any other bookmaker, and I would suggest shopping around, especially when it comes to player props, because there can be some big differences in fouls, cards, and those kind of markets. So I'll jump over to Bet365 and just give some thoughts on the odds that I see here. And the first thing that actually stands out to me, the first thing that I wanted to check, was Germany to qualify evens. I know it's going to be a tight game, but to have the hosts and the team that I have been most impressed with in this tournament, I think they are the most functional team at the tournament. I think they've got the best coach at the tournament, potentially. And for them to be evens just to qualify, which means, you cover in extra time, you're covering penalties. I think that's a great way to lay the foundation of a bet builder. Evens to start with is pretty good. So now let's jump back to the player stats tool and take a look at the data there. So I'm looking at passes here, and as you expect, Rodri, Toni Kroos, Tar, Kimmich, who apparently wants to go and join Pep Guardiola at Man City. That'll be an interesting one, won't it? We can also look at the averages, because that's what you are betting on when you see it, when you see the markets listed. So we'll go and scroll down to passes on average, and actually what the bookies are ranking this on, or sorry, what they are declaring as winners is actually accurate passes. So just remember that, accurate passes. Rodri, 97 per game. Now, I'm not even going to look at him when we go to the passes section. He might not even be listed, but I do like the idea of a centre-back for Germany, if they can try and control this game, get an early goal, and then just tempt Spain out a little bit and hit them on the break with the pace that they've got. Both of these teams have got blistering pace, to be fair. Sane has been a sub for a few games, hasn't he? But he could be very useful in this one. So what about Jonathan Tah? 61.75 average passes completed per game. Let's have a look at the markets. And I think, just as I always say, it's important to look at the data first and then go to Bet365, because you don't want to be dictated by Bet365. So let's have a look at passes, and I'll come back to you when I found it. So Jonathan Tah not being offered. And for Spain, they're not offering Rodri, of course. Cucurella is an interesting one. I really liked his performance the other day. He's playing much better, or seems to play much better for Spain. Now, Joshua Kimmich, 50.5, will get this up to 2.8. His average across the last 20 games is 59.45. If we go to the last 5 games, which will be the Euros plus the pre-Euros friendly that they played, 63 average per game. So 50.5 up to 2.8. I quite like that. Let's add that to the slip. We've got 2.8 now. Let me know what you think about that one in the comments. Who would you pick? Does your bookie have more options? Are you annoyed like me when you go here expecting a certain player and they're just not there? Now we can look at the average fouls here, and again, we're on the last 5 games. Robin Lenormand, 2.2. Robert Andrick, 2. 2 for Perez. There's, Jonathan Tah as well, 1.6. Morata as the sort of pressing forward up there. Let's go last 365 days and see who's top of the pile there. It is Marino in the middle, 2.07. Kai Havertz, I do like the look of Kai Havertz committing a foul. I've been very impressed with him, but he is still a bit clumsy when he goes to press. Let's have a look at the fouls and see who is actually there. Will Havertz be there? He is, and it gets it up to 4s for him to commit a foul. I really like that, actually. The thing is, for these games now, I think you're going to see more fouls. I think you're going to see more cards, potentially. The players that are not on 1 card, that's something that you can go ahead and research. Maybe I'll put that out as a Twitter post, the players that are not on 1 card, because I think they're going to be able to take more risks. They're going to be able to potentially stay on the pitch longer as well. And I'm quite liking this. Germany to qualify. Kimmich over 50 passes. Havertz over 0.5 fouls committed. So for him to commit a foul, as he has done, what about for Havertz to have a shot? I'll just show you as well what I was saying at the start of the video, or I did the intro a few times, so I'm not sure if I actually recorded it. But Havertz, in terms of shots on target across the last 20 days, across the last 20 games, he's ahead of the pile, 1.4 shots on target per game. Dennis Undav under him there, 1.27. And if we look at just shots on target as an absolute value, we can see that the number is 28. 28 shots on target in the last 20 games for Kai Havertz. Will he do it this time? Will he get a goal? Obviously, he's been taking penalties as well for Germany, but he's fantastic, I think. I think he offers so much as that number 9, especially when you've got players such as Germany do have in and around you, and you're looking to get them involved in the game. So, interesting to score or assist potentially as well is always a good one for Havertz because of the way he plays. But I'm quite happy with that at 4s. Let me know what you think. If you're doing this on Betfair, I reckon you'll be able to get that boosted. There doesn't seem to be any catches with the Betfair boost. Usually it's like maximum cash output or whatever, but yeah, it just seems to work most times when you put a bet slip together. This would probably get boosted to about 5.2. So as I say, always shop around. Right, now let's take a look at the player stats for the next game and do the same sort of thing. So in terms of shots on target, Portugal versus France, 41 across the last 20 games for Cristiano Ronaldo. One of those was a penalty that was saved, of course. I think for Portugal to progress, they need to remove Ronaldo. I could have egg on my face by the time these games are done, but I just think they would have such a more fluid team if they were to bring Paulinho in, like they did for that Turkey game, but also take Ronaldo out and maybe have Jota, Neto on the pitch. You know, they've got some great options, really. And I think you get more out of Bruno Fernandes as well. I just think it's a similar story to what happened at Man United. You know, don't get me wrong, if you get the ball to Ronaldo, if you get it on his head, there's a very good chance that he'll score, but that's also true of someone like Jota, and Jota offers a lot more just in and out of possession. So BTTS yes is the first thing that I'm going to do here. I think we could see an open game, especially if Portugal get the first goal. And again, it's lineup dependent, isn't it, in the way that they play. I would back France here, and I know that they've had under 2.5 goals in most of their games, but I think what we've seen with some teams where they've scored a lot of goals, and then when they get to this stage, they shut up shop. I think it might be the opposite for France as they play a team now in Portugal that I think will go for this, and I hope they go for this, and do play with a bit more fluidity, as I was saying. So BTTS, yes, at evens. I think if there is that early goal, especially if it goes to Portugal, France will have to respond. I think that's a good risk there. Evens obviously implied is 50%. I would give this game a bit more than 50% in terms of being BTTS. Let me know what you think about that. Amazingly, I can't find cards. Player cards is there, and corners is there, but there is no team cards, team shots. It's a strange one. What I wanted to do, and you know, you might still find this valuable, is put on for a card to be given in the first half, because I've noticed it a lot. These referees in these knockout games, they've been getting the cards out early. A lot of fouls. They're trying to calm the games down. And some referees, they've sort of shot themselves in the foot because they've given yellow cards for something really soft in the first half. And then they've had to, you know, not send somebody off, essentially. A couple of players have been very lucky. just based on the referee being consistent. So that it might be something you want to add. Both teams to score, yes. So evens is our sort of foundational layer of the bet slip, if you will. Now, player shots, is Ronaldo going to play? Look, I mean, 2.05, it's not worth it. So in terms of fouls, Camavinga top there, 1.56. Paulinho, 1.5. He makes tackles, but he also makes some fouls. Pavard, Diego Dallo. Now I'm looking at Diego Dallo here, and he's played 2 of the last 4. He played in the Georgia game, and then he was dropped unused substitute. But I'm thinking if he comes back for this one, this is something I would like. So for him to have a shot, doesn't have to be on target, just a shot, is evens, which is pretty good, I think. And then for him to commit a foul as well in the same game. Where are we? Player fouls committed. Didn't want to scroll down that far. And he is not in this list. So annoying, because up against Mbappe, as they, probably understand he will be. Cancelo there is not a bad option as well. Paulinho, if he plays. Cancelo, I'm quite liking that. He's got quite a few yellow cards, 6 in his last 20 games, Cancelo. That's more than any other player. Pepe to make a foul. Will he start? He played the last game, didn't he? 41. Pepe, fair play to him. Let's go Cancelo. I'm liking this. Both teams to score, yes. Diego Dallo to have a shot. Cancelo to commit a foul. And that's the slip for me. I'm happy with that. We don't have to call the result of the game. We don't have to put a shot on target for anybody. All we need is our defender to have a shot and our other defender to commit a foul. So that is at 7s as well. Can you see that on the screen? Yes. Let me know what you think about that one. Let me know what you think about both of those. Who's going to go through? Every comment will be entered into a draw to an OddAlerts Pro, which also includes something I'm going to show you right now, the bet slip generator. So you'll get these settings when you open this to launch it, and my target odds at the minute for the bet slip is 2.5. 2 slips per bet slip, minimum odds of 1.2, maximum 1.8, and the model that I'm going to enable for this bet slip is home win and over 1.5 goals. So you can adjust the probability to whichever values you like, and you can see that you can also adjust the league predictability. You can ask it to provide value bets only, which we are going to do right now. And then we hit the get button and we are presented with some games here. So take a look at these, screenshot, whatever you want to do, and let's see how they do in the next video. And I will also announce the winner of the free month of OddAlerts Pro. All you have to do is comment who you feel, hey, we've got a value bet right there, 1.5 goals. Over 1.5 goals in Portugal, France is 1.5. That's not a bad way to get your bet builder going as well. And you can see it's repeated that one as well sometimes, because there's not too many games from elsewhere on at the moment. And especially when you're searching for value bets with such high probability, you will, get plenty of games when the domestic seasons start. But at the moment, especially on a Wednesday, as I'm recording this, you'll get a nice set of fixtures, but it might repeat some of them. You can run it again as well, just to test, and you can see that it does repeat some, but this is a new one, the RKC game. So that's the bet slip generator. You can change your settings. They automatically save every time you fetch the bet slips. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, feedback, just let me know, and I look forward to reading your predictions in the comments. Hello everybody, I forgot to show you the Japanese game, but you can see there it is, the left arrow there. Shimizu S Pulse, I think that is. It's very small as I read it now on the screen recording software. And then the 2 games from Serie A. Copa America is underway, but those 2 games there at the top, both of those teams have lost every single away game played so far. So just a few games there that you might want to check out. The odds certainly entice me there in Japan. Click into that fixture on the trends page and you'll see that the away team has won 36% of away games, I think, whilst Shimizu have won all but 1 game, as you can see there, and there are evens to do so again. So maybe draw no bet or double chance with over 1.5 goals. That used to be my go-to in Japan, and certainly as the Japanese leagues get going, they are very, very reliable. So let me know what you think about this video in the comments, and if you've got any feedback, I would love to hear it.